They know what is about to happen so well that they are giving us future headlines. This is one of the most recent USDebtClock.org's X account posts that was posted on May 29th, 2024. And it's a future headline where we have 22 states sue the Fed and seek an audit of the private banking syndicate. And the thing is that it already started with Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie, shout out to Kentucky, put in a bill to audit the Federal Reserve. And if U.S. Congress is unwilling to pass this bill, you're going to see a coalition of these states come together and sue the Federal Reserve and abolish the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. Now, there's a problem with all of this. They need to figure out how. And this is where this image is going to come back into place later, so keep that in mind. But since its inception in 1913, the Federal Reserve has been shrouded in mystery and intrigue. How could such a basic function of the federal government be taken over by a private cartel of banks? That is what they're trying to figure out. And we can talk about how Woodrow Wilson sold America like a stock back in 1913 and gave control over to the powers that be, the central bankers, enabling the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. With the bankers controlling the money, they control the government, in which they control the people. And people are going to sit there and say, oh, that's not true, it's a conspiracy, all of it's a conspiracy. Well, since you don't want to believe that, then let's go ahead and dive deeper into history, right? And bring out some facts. Well, with losing 97% of its dollar's value in over 100 years, the feds have a lot to be held accountable for. In actuality, the Fed dollar worked much like a Ponzi scheme of old, loaning money into existence with interest and promising to pay bondholders in the future with more money loaned out in a never-ending cycle of debt. I mean, facts are facts. This is why you're seeing inflation just go to the moon, because they're just endlessly printing the money. Did you know that inflation is another form of taxation? And they don't care because this goes deep into history. In 1790, Mayor Rothschild said, "Let me issue and control the nation's money, and I care not who makes its law." The state now faces the challenge to see if this proclamation is a harbinger of physical doom or a wake-up call to the republic. The doom is the continued enslavement of humanity because of this banking syndicate, and it all got started by a Jewish banker named Mayer Amschel Rothschild.
The Rothschild banking dynasty has an unlikely origin, an 18th century ghetto in Frankfurt, Germany. Like many of his time, Mayer Amschel Rothschild can't own land or farms due to his race. So, he follows his family's path and becomes a textile trader. Mayer Rothschild quickly grows discontented with trading textiles and becomes eager to explore other ventures, ones that offer higher profit margins. He soon discovers that trading gold coins and antiques could be much more lucrative. Mayer Rothschild quickly establishes himself as a shrewd trader and uncovers a brilliant strategy known today as front running. By 1782, Mayer Rothschild has amassed a colossal fortune and earns the position as the investment manager for Prince William's vast wealth. But for Mayer Rothschild, it's just the beginning. To truly create a strong footing in the world of finance, he must evolve into a bank. He envisions a legacy beyond wealth, a family dynasty that stands the test of time, outlasting nations and empires. To do that, he knows he needs to think bigger than just Frankfurt or even Prussia. To expand, he dispatches 4 of his 5 sons to the great capitals of Europe: Vienna, Naples, Paris, and the jewel of the empire, London.
And out of the 5 sons, everybody should know about Nathan Rothschild, right? Rumor has it that during the famous battle at Waterloo between Napoleon's French forces versus the British, a Rothschild courier by the name of Rothworth played a pivotal role when the British won the battle. Rothworth quickly crossed the channel to deliver the news to Nathan Rothschild a full 24 hours before the information got to London. In that case, Nathan Rothschild instructed his agent to sell all the British bonds that they had, also known as consols at the time, to create a false impression that the British had lost the war. This caused the value of the consols to plummet. Then Rothschild proceeded to tell his agents to buy up all of the devalued consoles. So when the news of the British victory became public, it actually made the consoles prices soar, earning Nathan Rothschild an incredible return on his investment of 20 to 1. This move alone gave the Rothschild family significant control over the British economy, which became the world's financial center after the defeat of Napoleon. Then Nathan Rothschild led the establishment of a new Bank of England under his control. With the Rothschild family being very intelligent, lending money to countries for war, they knew that they had to step up their game. This is where Lionel Rothschild comes in, the son of Nathan Rothschild.
Lionel Rothschild believes in prioritizing his family, but he also feels compelled to uplift his people. Lionel thinks that to further the cause of eliminating prejudice against people of his ethnicity, it's beneficial to enter government. There is a problem. To be fully sworn in as a member of the Commons, he would have to recite an oath to the Holy Scriptures. But Lionel refuses and insists he will swear only on the Old Testament. Becoming part of the government is monumental for the House of Rothschild.
And with the Federal Reserve just being another part of the Bank of England, it makes sense on how this private cartel just actually got into the government. Now, we are definitely going through biblical times because we are changing the hands of the money changers. And this image right here depictions on how it's going to happen. What many people don't realize is that when Space Force was created, it is not just simply going into space. It is a high intellectual intelligence cybersecurity military branch. This military branch uses the blockchain and AI and distributed ledger technology, and it's going to use it to expose all of the corruption that has happened in the whole entire banking sector that led us into enslavement, ultimately going to help abolish the Federal Reserve. This is why they don't want blockchain, they don't want crypto. Unless they can legitimately control it, they do not want it, because then they can continue all of their manipulation and their laundering. But they're learning it the hard way that they cannot control it. You cannot control a decentralized network that is built upon blockchain. This is why their reign of terror is at the end. And shout out to Mike and Ariel over on X for posting this, as state-sponsored banks don't have to follow the Federal Reserve Charter, and states can now acquire gold reserves for their state banks and disband the Federal Reserve System. This is massive. With that being said, states around the U.S. have already been seeing what is around the corner. This is why 13 states in the United States have already removed capital gains tax on gold and silver. And additionally, 23 states have taken the step toward adopting gold and silver as legal tender. We are legitimately in the middle of this monetary reset. There is nothing you can do to stop what is coming. You're either on board or you're not. There is no middle ground. 22 states sue the feds, seek audit of private banking syndicate. Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who makes this law. Calculate. The Jewish Rothschild had used our flag as monarch mind control symbols, causing us to accept institutional evil. So many people went to the government to solve their issues, so now it controls us. Thanks, idiots. The Rothschild Mafia shadow government has many paid mathematicians whose job is to make all of their pseudoscience lies seem plausible. Mafia, huh? Isn't the Rothschild and the Rockefellers like part of the whole entire Orsini Italian mafia family? When the human race learns to read the language of symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of men. They shall know the truth. Huge rewards in heavens for the journalists that stand up to the beast system. You will be protected. Step into the light. After these things I will return and rise again. The tent of David that has fallen down, I will rebuild its ruins and restore it. At this point, our technology will make automated system possible and allow us to move out of a monetary system. Didn't we just talk about that? Everything must be done by turns. No activity here beneath the heavens, but has its allowed time for beginning and coming to an end. This is why it's very important to have faith, because the U.S. is a corporation, and what we are doing is that we are bringing back the United States of America, the Republic. This is why it's so important to know what you hold. Let's go.